series. What a series. I'm at the end of this. I know Job's not finished, but at the end of it, nice, Josh. Very nice. Josh is an incredible guy. I got to tell you. If you guys don't know this guy, Josh Cohen, PC Sports Cards. He has an amazing partner named Zach, very opinionated, very intelligent man. He decided I'm going to skip the show and go for a jog. So, Zach, if you're out there listening, shout out to you. Luca Nation, this has been an incredible series. I think we're probably at 40 episodes recorded. I got to tip my hat to you, Cage.
It's a lot.
You haven't skipped a beat, man. You know, kids going to camp, work. Cage is leaving for Disney World at the end of August, and not to skip a beat. Shout out to you, brother. But today, we're going to have a dear friend, Mr. Josh Cohen. And this guy has a million questions before coming on the show. You know, what topics are we going to discuss? All blah, blah. What topics would you want to discuss, Josh?
I don't care what we talk about. I'm just happy to be here.
That's the best.
You guys tell me what you want to talk about.
Everything but Arizona State.
Dude.
I mean, we definitely should not talk about Arizona State football because it's going to be absolutely miserable this year. But I am going to 2 games, so that's good.
Herm Edwards, right, Coach?
Herm Edwards.
You don't like him? It's an NFL coach right there, Josh.
It's an NFL system, NFL losing system. It's great.
And they sneaked a little word in there. So here, if we're going to not have topics, I will throw a topic out. I don't do this that often, but I'm going to throw a topic out, right? Let's talk about facial hair. Because I shaved yesterday, and I have a little bit of stubble here. Josh, you kind of got a little, like, you know, it's almost like a goatee. You could tell from looking on YouTube now that you can grow this in a little bit. You know, a lot of people can't do the connecting. It's growing. You can see it. But what do you think about what my co-host has going on over there?
I mean, I wouldn't do it if I can grow it out. So I'm part of a group called Mustache Nation where we grow out mustaches for ASU road games.
Look at this topic I came up with.
It's great, right?
We have a relevant guest for it.
I will send you pictures of what I look like with a full mustache, and it is glorious. We also wear jorts to the football game, so you know the kind of people we are. And look at you, Cage.
Jorts.
You, Goldberg. Oh, my God.
He's looking good, man. I mean, you know, he's it's funny.
The chin strap is good. That's the really good part.
The more I see this and the more guests come on and ask about it, you know what I actually found myself doing, because I am in love with my co-host. I mean, I could not do this if I wasn't,
get in line.
Right? And I started looking at, like, you know, his page, because he has a very clean feed. My feed's a mess. He tells me that all the time. His feed is clean, right? And I started looking and I'm like, it looks like a different person from when we started. A completely different person. And he kind of acts like a different person too, a little bit too. I'm like, what happened to the original Andrew? But
Age.
It's the growth mindset, Cage. I'm always trying to evolve. I'm trying to grow.
This is what he tells me.
You got to understand. This is actually really good. So I was thinking, like, I'm not a part of your crew. You know, I'm not buying Jordans, PSA 10s, or Montanas. No. I'm not in that older crew that.
But you are buying HGA 5s.
Yes, I'm buying HGA 5s.
Hell yeah.
So I didn't get into the hobby in 2018, 19, you know. So I'm not that crew. I'm not the older guys, 35 and up. But I'm also not like the Ross cards. You know, yeah. I'm not the shiny or the Mac Jones Nike non-game worn, never associated with the player. So I'm
You're a tweener.
I'm in this awkward middle. Malcolm in the middle. And how I felt, I was like, all right, let's grow out a beard in this transition phase and see what happens. And it took off, you know, even with the younger ladies and the older ladies. So I'm keeping it. And I feel good.
And by the way, Josh, just to clarify, he lives in Boca. So the younger ladies are the 60s and 70-year-olds. That's what he means when he's talking about the younger ladies who like
when you come to New York, Goldberg. My wife plays in a golf league every Thursday morning. She's 36, and the next youngest lady is 56. I think they meet your demographic.
There you go. See?
Are you trying to introduce me to the wife?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
I'm a Goldberg. You're coming. So give us the origin story.
Be my guest.
For people that don't know.
Take my wife, please.
So, the way you run a consignment business is the main bread and butter. You guys are a group sub, but when I look at you, and we had a conversation, we met at National 2021 in Chicago. Mm-hmm. The way you think, the way Zach thinks about cards, collecting, building a portfolio, investing, I left that conversation, I got to be honest, I even remember one thing that Zach said. He said, don't think about every deal individually. Think about it as all a series of deals. Remember that?
Sure.
And I left that conversation. I was like, dude, these guys are bright. Let's get them on the show. You're a tough guy to pin down. It's taken a year to get you on the show, but here you are. So what's the origin story? How'd you get here?
So my original business started in 2014. Basically, one of my friends opened a box of 2013 Bowman Chrome baseball, hit a Byron Buxton purple auto, and sold it for $1,800 and said, "Hey, Josh, baseball cards are coming back." So then I started like doing some research. Like, that's cool. And I started doing some opening of myself, like trying to figure it out. I had just gotten married in 2013, absolutely hated my job.
I thought you were going to go a direction with that. But...
So
just
I opened the box myself. I hit a Hyro Barris gold refractor auto. It's somewhere around here. It's somewhere around here because I bought it back. I brought it up to White Plains for the East Coast National and got it RCR'd. It got a 10. I couldn't sell it before that for $200, and I sold it for $750 cash. And I said, wow, there might be something to this grading thing, right? So turned that into a conversation with Charles at Beckett, and he told me I can get discounts on grading if I got a certain number of cards, and that's how the group submissions began. Fast forward a couple of years to the last time they had the National at Atlantic City. Zach and I ended up setting up together. We split some deals. We started talking a lot more, and that's when PC Sports Cards started.
When did you start selling jorts?
I never sold jorts.
Oh.
We do cut jeans into jorts, unfortunately. that is what we do. We don't buy jorts.
I mean, listen, it's funny how, some of these things, they just start off like this. The origin story Andrew likes to, to talk about, it's just, hey, there's something here.
Yeah.
Right? I remember, I was in UFC stuff, left for a little while, and, came back. And it's exactly the same thing. It's like, wow, you can buy a card for $1, pay $8 to grade it, and all of a sudden that $9 is worth $100. Right? That's an interesting thing. But Josh, I don't want you to make a statement against your interest here now, but
sure,
it's not as easy to do that anymore. And how has that impacted kind of what you're doing?
So we became PSA's biggest customer in 2019, 2020, when the whole thing shut down. We were sending in 12, 15,000 cards a week to PSA, which is an absolutely insane number. We only have 19 submissions left from the backlog, which is great.
Wow. We have one.
The backlog is one of the most stressful things I've ever experienced.
Not me. I love getting emails asking me where my cards are every day.
What do you respond?
At PSA.
Okay. Or like,
I gotta tell you.
I mean, what I really reply is, our website will give you an automatic update within 3 hours of it being updated, so you'll know your status faster than anybody else. So just check the website; it gives you all the updates.
I love that.
I gotta tell you, the backlog and PSA closure and all this stuff, it's been the greatest thing that happened to me in the last 2 years. I know it's stressful for you, Andrew, and yeah, you got to answer questions, but like, I'll get an email from my boss early in the morning, be like, "Where's the quarterly report? We can't close on this deal if you don't have it," and I'll be like, "It's still with PSA." I'll just let my boss know it's a part of the backlog. Nothing I can do about it. And he'll write back, "What the hell are you talking about?"
When it's updated, you will know.
And why are you signing emails, Cage? Who's Cage?
So, on your question though, what has it done for our business? I mean, there's still a lot of opportunity to buy cards, grade them, and sell them. Right? There's a lot of opportunity to make money. What a lot of people that haven't been in the hobby or call it a business, whatever, for a long time think is that, hey, I'm going to grade this card, get a PSA 9 and make money. And that's an unrealistic expectation in any year that wasn't 2020 or 2021. Even into 2022, you could still do that. But it used to be that you need to get a 10 or a BGS 9.5 or a BGS 10 to make money when you're grading cards. The only benefit was it was $6 or $8, right? So now you could still make money. You just have to be pickier and smarter with what you're sending. Like, if you rip a box of Chronicles, you should not send any of those cards to get graded, right? Period. Maybe a color refractor or something, but like base cards, don't grade them. It doesn't. What I always tell customers when they ask is, if you're buying this in and grading it speculatively to make money, you don't have to worry about whether you want to grade or not. You have to ask yourself, will somebody else value this card in a high grade where they're willing to pay more money for it? And you have to be able to answer that question also.
Yep. It was a little nuts there for a little while. I remember getting up charges for 9s.
Yeah, we still get them.
So I mean on base cards.
That's horrible.
Yeah, killing.
That's horrible.
It was Mbappe. You know, it was Mbappe
Bobo.
Prism. Yeah, Mbappe
Bobo.
Prism base, and I'm like 9. I got up charges on a 9, like the 10 I get, but a 9. But yeah, for a minute there, the world went nuts.
I want to ask you. So you went to Atlantic City National. Was that 2017?
Yes.
Compare and contrast that to 2022. You know, more people, less people, more corporate, less corporate,
Sure.
more corporate, less carpet. Compare and contrast for me, Josh.
So 2017 National, to compare, in April of 2017, I called the National and said, hey, do you have any booth space? And they said, yeah, you could pick from any of this. And in 2022, obviously, it was all sold out. It's all sold out going into Chicago. So more dealers, more corporate, much more corporate. The corporate area was tiny. And if you were in Chicago last year, that was a big corporate area, and that's tiny compared to what it's going to be next year. I don't know if you guys saw the map for next year. It's absolutely crazy how much corporate areas there's going to be. One report we heard was that 55% of attendees to the National this year were first-time attendees. So it was a lot busier than it was 5 years ago. I think it was as busy or busier than Chicago last year.
55% were first-time attendees.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Interesting. I wonder where they would get that data, but not surprising. Not surprising. I mean, tons of kids.
I mean, Atlantic City's a draw.
Well, I'll tell you what I think about that. One, I think it is going to count the people who are buying tickets, and any dealer is not buying tickets. Any influencer is probably not buying tickets because they're getting media passes or some VIP, sure, whatever the heck it is, you name it.
Or dealer, you know, or dealer passes,
or a dealer pass. You know, like any you know, hobby person is, you know, what that is, you know, first timers, and usually that's going to be people who have been in the hobby the last couple of years but might not have gone to Chicago because they live on the East Coast. You know Chicago, what I mean? So the 55, yeah, the 55 number doesn't really I think that works. I think that's probably fine. It probably stayed the same next year too. So
back in Chicago.
Yeah.
I will say the one big thing at the National this year was that every single person that walked up to our booth was selling or wanted to trade, and very few people were buying. Just straight up like, oh, I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. We did have some good sales, some really big sales, some really big trades. And we were picky with what we bought, but every single person was buying. And a lot of the people, selling, I'm sorry. And a lot of the people that were selling, we actually turned them onto our consignment service instead of just straight buying it from them, because they can get the money within 2 weeks and they're going to get somewhere between 85 and 93% of the comp.
I just bought my first card off you guys. Really nice buy. Like one of the most excited purchases I've had in a long time. It was an Acuna 94 finest refractor throwback.
The gold one, right?
The gold one.
Picture.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It was pretty sick. I'm curious. Do you think that there's less buying? Because here's what I saw. So, like, I came into 2020, buying Zion base, grading them, flipping them, and maybe like 30% of my money, my entire budget, was into cards. But as more and more cards go up, you're like, damn, I don't want to miss the run up. So you put more chips in the table, right? You get the 50, 60, 70%. Do you think that a lot of the people at the show, they're, you know, cardboard rich, cash poor?
Yes, 100%. I think.
How do you think it's going to play out if there's another downturn, though?
I mean, at some point they're going to have to sell it, right? Like sometimes, and this is one of the moves that we made at the show was I traded out of a job BGS 9 NTRPA, right? We had bought it for just over $100,000 a couple months ago. And I got 65 grand cash and a Jordan PSA 9. So I took a $15,000 or $20,000 haircut on it, right? Now I traded the Jordan for close to 24-ish. So I'm going to make some money back. But sometimes taking a loss and getting the capital back makes a lot more sense than watching the asset dwindle down when you look at it from an investment standpoint only.
I love that. And we have to clip it. walk through this with me because it cycles, right?
Sure.
And Andrew, just think about Josh's own story, not the origin story, but you can go back, right? It's a 10-year story right now. It's 2013 to 2022. In the beginning with price discovery, he's realizing, wow, baseball cards might come back. Wow, I'm going to open some boxes. Wow, I'm going to grade. He went from someone who wasn't in the hobby to, in the first couple of years, somebody who was dabbling in the hobby and opening some boxes, and then realized he could be a collector and grade cards. And then started moving up what I like to call the card food pyramid, right? Meeting Charlie, the regional guy from Beckett, figuring out that there's a way to grade cheaper, right? Going to nationals, right? Changing from collector to hobby participant, maybe business, right? But all before a major explosion. Josh was early, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as the demand starts to grow, he's already got some foot there, some foothold. Wow, I'm not just going to grade myself cheap. I'm going to turn this into a grading business. And as the people come in, the demand comes in to grade because people are making money on 9s and 10s. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to put 12 to 15,000 submissions in per week, which, by the way, Josh hasn't volunteered the current number, which is significantly less than that. But What Josh did is he pivoted because the market pivots. And now everyone is not going like this, prison lunchroom, protecting the cornbread, like you were saying, throw all your stuff on the table. Instead, people now are looking to try to get some liquidity. So very smart business, pivot, put the resources into consignment because people are now looking to sell. But eventually it's going to come to a point where this new entrance into the market, they've consigned all of their crap. They've sold all of their stuff. They're not grading anymore, right? They're not sending all these cards in because 9s and 10s don't, the 9s don't pay and the 10s, they're not getting them. The consignment stops because everybody, and I'm only saying this, guys, because I'm going through it myself. Like I consigned a lot. I submitted a lot of stuff, and I used to get back. Andrew used to talk about it all the time, right? I'd send a bunch every month, and I would get them back and get them back and get them back. And I'd go to Probstein, or I'd download the PWCC or eBay myself.
How about PC sports cards?
Yeah, well, not you, but I didn't. But I mean, now we can use PC sports cards, but I don't have any cards left. That's the thing, right? And not coming back on a monthly basis because PSA was closed, and you name it, the whole deal. I guess the biggest question I would have as somebody listening to this as a hobby participant for you, Josh, because you've now seen this for 10 years and you were alive and probably collected before that is what's next, right? Because what I envision, and you can tell me I'm wrong in your own deal, is we've peaked and we're coming back down. Now, we're at a fun little inflection point where it can turn back up. Any little thing. Andrew likes to talk about there's dry wood. You just need that spark, right, to light the fire back up. Whether it's PSA coming back down to $18 for good or even lower, whether it's competition with the grading companies, whether it's what Fanatics is going to do, and we can all kind of surmise about what that's going to be. But, do you think it's one of these, okay, we wrote it, we're now riding it back down? Or do you think it's, all right, we're flooring now, and, the new season, new football, basketball, you name it's going to pique more interest, and we're going to now head back up? What's your thoughts?
So lots of answers, right?
Yeah.
First of all, first part, when PSA opened the $18 level, we got no discount as group submitter, so we did it at 21, and we got about 8,000 cards in those 3 weeks. So even being more expensive than PSA, we still got 3,200, 2,500 cards a week, which
and that
really
picked
good.
Up significantly more than it was before that, obviously, at $30 and $50, right?
At $30 and $50, we were somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 a week, 800, 1,200 a week. When I say 8,000, I'm just talking about that value level. I'm not including the 30 or 50,
of course.
Right?
That's easy.
You're talking about how you sent cards out, you paid for grading, you sold them yourself, or you sent them somewhere to sell, which doesn't give you a ton of liquidity. One thing that we do, which I'm going to talk about the business a little bit.
Yeah,
One thing we do.
That's why you're here.
we do grading to consignment. So basically, you send us your cards, we send them out to grading. You don't pay for that grading fee up front. We sell your cards. We take the money out of the sale of your cards. So in theory, the $1,000 you're going to spend on grading, you could actually be buying more cards with instead of putting all that money back into buying back into paying for the grading, right? So
so everybody listening understands that. It's an important thing, right? Because you're allowing liquidity. It's not a loan per se, but you're taking the card almost as collateral, and you're sending the card and you're fronting the grading fees. But the agreement you have is when that card comes back graded, it is going to be sold, and the first person who gets paid is you for your grading fee. Then you for your percentage, and whatever's left goes to the consignor.
So to make sure it's as clear as possible, we don't force you to sell it. We're not PWCC where you send it to us and you have to sell it. Our website will give you the list of all your grades, and you go there and you click a little checkbox on what you want to go to consignment and what you want to take back. We'll sell everything you have on consignment. Hopefully it covers your entire balance. You get money at the back end, and you then get your card sent back to you. So we're not forcing you to sell anything. We're just giving you the ability to do it so you can take advantage of our rates and not take money out of your pocket.
Okay, easy enough.
Right.
I have an answer for this after Josh. I'm curious what he's going to say, but I have something that's been kind of percolating.
Nice.
So I think that if you asked me in 2019 and today, if you asked me where the hobby would be today, I would say around here, but I would expect it to go up slowly, not peak and come back down. Right. So if you told me where it is today, like Duncan PSA 10s are $400 or $500 when I was buying them for $1.25, then like I'd be pumped. I wouldn't know that they hit 3,000 at some point and know that I have 14 of them still sitting here that I should have sold at 3,000, but it is what it is, right? I paid $125 for them, not the end of the world.
Josh, you know what the comparison for this is? the Yankees have sucked for the last month, and Aaron Judge, he does his press conferences and he says what you have to say, which is if somebody told me that at the end of August we'd be 10 games up when we started the season off, I'd be thrilled. We'd sign up for that in a second. But it ignores how we got to that 10 up.
Sure.
Like they were 10 up like 10 games into the season. You know what I mean? So it ignores that Duncan Russ streak, that we're on a downward trajectory, even though we're there.
Sure.
It's funny.
It gives perspective, right, Cage?
Yep.
It's perspective. It takes a step away from what you're dealing with now, and
it's a long-term look at it instead of a microscopic look at it, right? I'll say to you guys what I've been saying on all the YouTube stuff that I do and anything, all the question and answer stuff, everything we do. I think that when the backlog is gone from PSA and the new backlog that came from the $18 level is done. So by the end of the year, we'll have all those cards back, I think. When that's done, that's going to be great because we're going to know how much inventory, we're going to know how much supply there is in the market of graded cards from PSA. I know there's other companies that grading cards, but obviously the chunk of it is from PSA. So that's why I'm saying PSA, right? I think the main thing that we need to see happen is we need to see wax come down in price. We need to see hopefully some products disappear. And this is not me saying I expect it to happen. I'm saying this would make the market a lot healthier. When
this is the answer to Andrew's question, which is if we made you the CEO of the hobby, what would you do?
Sure.
Which is
I mean, I think you contract wax into less products. Nobody needs Recon. Nobody needs Flux. Nobody needs Mosaic. Nobody needs Chronicles. We don't need these products. You look at you go to DealerNet, you look at the 2017 price sheet, you see all the products that are there. There's probably still some there like Spectre that we don't need, but you could leave them. And you get back halfway to where we were then. For example, in 2017, the Celtics with Jason Tatum were $300 in Immaculate and like $600 in a break for NT. The case was $4,000. Luka rookie year, case was $4,000 to $4,500 when it came out. We don't need to get all the way back there. We have more people with more money in the hobby, but $16,000 for these new products with players that aren't going to be that good is just sucking the market dry. If we can get that back down, get products down, people will have more money for singles, more money for grading. The cards that actually people care about and will care about long-term will matter. And shrink checklists, right? Like select, I think that if you go across all four card numbers, there's about 100 to 150 die-cut retail colors of every single player in select football this year. That are
so just to recap, too many parallels, so people are kind of like their money spread across, and the parallels compete against each other. And then second is the price of wax is so high that it sucks the money out of the market. It goes to the breakers, and oftentimes breakers don't even buy some of these high-end singles or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, some of the breakers are buying at high prices, right? They're rebuying cases. They're not getting all of them at allocation. Right. But I don't care where the money goes. I like collectors, investors, speculators. If there's more money in their pockets, there will be more money in the hobby for singles to go up. The spread between some of these cards is absolutely out of control. And you join a flawless basketball break now, you can't make money. You get the Hornets, you hit LaMelo Ball RPA, you lose money. Like, it's insane. It just doesn't make any sense. The pricing's out of control.
Cage, how do you think that plays out?
Well, I mean, it's one of two ways of looking at it, right? And Eminence, the Eminence football is a great example of that, right? And how much that costs, and look at what the hits are, right? And they're nowhere near the price. You can't make money. But it's a great sentence, right? If you buy these products now, you can't make money on them. Josh, you were here in 2013, 14, 15, 16. When you bought products, you were not making money. Like, that was the way the hobby was. You people who were collecting, and it's a very different world, obviously. In 2017, you went to the National, like, you could get a table, right? I mean, it's a very different hobby. I think we all prefer it as robust as it has been because there's more business here, there's more people, it's more fun, there's more podcasts. The word podcast. I wasn't doing this in 2014, right?
I'm going to ask you guys a question.
Shoot.
In 2015, how much do you think 2015 Panini Prism basketball was for a case, a jumbo case? Towns rookie year. Towns, Booker, Porzingis, hobby case.
So it's funny. I remember in 2018 going to White Plains and buying a retail box of Prism basketball Luka rookie year for $100, and it sat on the shelf the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, no one was buying it for $100. So I can only imagine, like, 2015, what the hobby. I mean, probably nothing. How many box case? I don't even know.
I think it's like eight hobby box, 8 jumbo boxes.
So 8 jumbo hobby boxes were probably
$1,600, $200.
Yeah, maybe even less. But yeah,
multiply 1,600 times 25%.
Why are you doing this? What are you taking us to school?
So that's $400 if it's 25%.
They were begging me to take jumbo cases at $400 to $500, right? The hobby is in a much different place right now than it was then. It's a completely different world. I had the entire Devin Booker rainbow. I sold the gold for $1,400 BGS 95.
But Josh, so Andrew, when Andrew asked, and I said it could go two ways, right? I know because when I was going to my LCS in 16 and 17, he was showing me what he was being offered and the letters from Topps and from the distributor saying you can't get product anymore unless you take one from this, one from this, one from this, WWE, Chrome. Like, I would say, okay, I'll take this. I'll take your Star Wars. Just give it to me at your cost direct. Like, they were giving it away to people, but this way they can maintain their relationship with the companies. Forget about it. Now he's trying to charge me $6,000 for a box of National Treasures, and I'm like, go make your money somewhere else. I'm the reason you still have this relationship. Like, what the hell are you doing? You forget so quick. But I don't begrudge him. He's got to make his money like everybody else. But the two ways, we can't go back there, right? It can't. Like, the hobby is not going to go back there.
Never.
But it's funny though. If it did, we would just cycle right back to where we are. Because if prices came down, like in a weird world, Josh, like Fanatics came in and did what you said, which would be amazing, but they're never going to do it because they didn't come in and spend billions of dollars to make less product. But if they did, what would wind up happening is there'd be less products, right? The products would be more valuable. People would buy them. You'd make money, the whole 9 yards. The price would come down. It's never going to happen. But what I think could happen, what you're saying is National Treasure doesn't have to start off as $6,000 a box. It's not going to go back down to 1,000,
Never.
But maybe it's at that 2,500 or 2,800 for, a box of National Treasures. And if your grading fees are also reasonable with a reasonable turnaround time and people are smart about what they're sending in and only sending in good stuff, there is a way to do it. We're not going to ever get back to where we were, where stuff is not, you can't sell it, nobody wants it. We're also not going to get back to the other side. Sure. Where you're making 10x on anything you sent in and it doesn't matter what it is. It's got to be somewhere in the middle,
100%. I agree with that.
So I want to talk about opportunity, okay? Because I do think there's opportunity in the market. And as a consignor, here, I'll give you an example. I have 3 cards here, okay? So there are all of these PSA 10s that are coming back that not on a consignor who gets a lot of eyeballs, but they don't even get a single bid. Have you seen that on eBay?
Sure.
One bid will take it down. So I'll show you 3 cards where one bid took it down. So we have an SG. This is Kyler Murray, rookie Chronicles, which doesn't even look like Chronicles. I think I want to talk to you guys about Chronicles in general. They just shoved everything in there.
Yeah. It's for my kid. Chronicles is for my kid.
Yeah, for sure. Cage for sure.
Extractor, PSA 10. All of these are PSA 10s and SGA rookie. So I think there's opportunity to find listings that don't even get bid on. All of these have been $25 One bid.
Andrew, so listen, Josh has been here for a while, straight through, and has seen from collecting side, business side, you name it.
Sure.
Before you showed him your cards, the first thing he said is, no one should be grading anything from a Chronicles box. Unless it's
Right,
some
but
crazy
they already
crack or
did.
whatever it is.
So, but they already did. and
Right,
I'm-
so I understand your question. So just to crystallize
finished
what he's
it.
asking, Josh, is there an opportunity in buying these PSA 10s for such a low amount of money like he's buying because people graded these and are now just taking whatever they can? Or are those things something that will never have value and they just should never have been graded? What are your thoughts? Right, Andrew?
So
Exactly.
So 2 parts. Number one, I don't know what was the single bid, $25, or was it like cheap, like 99 cents?
No, $25. 99
that's still-
cents for a PSA 10.
I mean,
Come on,
so
man.
here's the thing: we've sold PSA 10s for 99 cents, like straight up.
Yeah,
No-
like Mark
no-
McGuire and Barry Bonds, people no one cares about. This is Kyler Murray, dude. What are you talking about?
Wait a
I'm
second.
answering your question.
That needs to be clipped. I don't care who it is. This is Kyler Murray. It's not Barry Bonds or Mark McGuire, who no one cares about. This is Kyler Murray.
You guys,
All
this
right.
is what I'm hearing.
So here's the deal. I personally probably wouldn't buy those cards for $25 because I don't know what the opportunity is on a Kyler Murray Chronicles PSA 10. There is opportunity for PSA 10s that are under $10, which they sell every single day under $10 with shipping, right? First of all, you could buy those and put them at a show for $10 and people will eat them up, right?
Correct.
But the bigger opportunity that people don't realize with cards like that, and they could be 10s, 9s, or 8s, when you could buy a card like that for under $5 and you want to start flipping cards and you want to start getting into that hobby and getting into that part of the speculative part of the hobby, you buy those cards for $3, $4, $5, you crack them out and you examine them. And now you learned some of the parameters that some of the grading companies are looking for when they're graded, and you teach yourself how to grade cards. Lots of people don't understand how to look over a card, and it's too expensive right now. Like when I started doing it, you were sending cards in for $6.50. You could learn really quick, really fast, really cheap what to look for in a card. These cards, the opportunity there isn't the card themselves, it's the knowledge you could learn from that card.
That's an interesting. We've never had that take. We've done a lot of episodes, Josh. That's an OG. That's an original take.
Well,
mean,
because
And you
everybody-
see that because a lot
I
of people
see it all
send
the
you
time.
junk.
I see people
Yeah.
paying other people $3 or $5 or $8 or $10
to review their
to
stuff.
look over their cards.
Yeah.
Buy 10 cards for $50 and look them over yourself and learn. It's not. I know a friend that wears like 100. He's got like 100 or 200 so horrible vision, and he could look over cards. It's not rocket science. You can do it. Stop paying somebody else to do it, because if you're looking at $20, call $30 a card for grading right now with PSA, and you're paying somebody $5 a card, you're basically paying for 6 cards for every 5 cards you grade, right? You're literally wasting money, and you could spend that money to educate yourself instead of letting somebody else just take the money for a minute of their time.
If Zach was here, Zach is an opinionated.
he would
dude.
yell at Josh and say, "Great, next week I was going to pitch the idea of charging people $2 to look over their cards and tell them
No.
whether they should grade it. You just shit on that, Josh." That's what he would say.
We used
Yeah.
to do it. We used to do reviews for Beckett, and Zach would be like, "You're wasting your time. Why are you doing this?" I'm like, "For $3 a card, I write down what subgrades it's going to get, and usually I'm within a half a subgrade, and I tell people to only send in 9.5s. But like you guys know, like my time is worth more than that to me, right? Like it's not. If it takes me 3 minutes to look over a card, I charge $3. That's good money. That's $60 an hour. To me, my time is worth more than $60 an hour, so I'm just not going to do it.
What is Zach's take on
You
the
and
current
Andrew just
market?
became best friends.
Well, yes, but yes.
Just
What's Zach's current take? Like, if he was here, just national, what he liked, what he didn't like.
Zach wasn't as high on the national as I was. Nobody was trying to buy the high end stuff. I mean, we had a lot of super high end cards out, right? Like we had Contenders, Mahomes, horizontal ticket 1 of 1. We had a Brady Contenders Super Bowl ticket out. We had a couple of Jog Gold BGS 9.5s out, and not a lot of people were just asking for that stuff, right? So like we only had 2 or 3 really big deals that we made. and he likes making those big deals and those big sales at the show. So he wasn't as high on it as I was. I think we got a lot of people in. I think we got a lot of new consignment customers. I think we got some new grading customers. Made some great connections with other people, and I think it was a great show. He wasn't as high on it as me.
We always ask this, and Cage, popcorn here, but like, who would you give flowers to? Like, who, what booth, what business? And you guys are killing it. You guys are always locked in. But like, who else do you like what they're doing?
So
you want to share?
If you're asking at the national, like what I saw people doing, like I can honestly tell you, I was in like 567, so the back of the room. I didn't make it anywhere past the 600 level, and I made a triangle. I walked from my booth to the bathroom to PSA to my booth. That's literally all I did the entire time, right? Like it was literally a triangle. Like that's it. I didn't go anywhere, so I can't tell you what other people were doing at the show. So I can't just give an answer about that.
Come on, Josh. What'd you do at night? Did you just go to your hotel room and fall asleep? You didn't go to any single events? You didn't go to any? You didn't meet up with any partners?
I went to a dinner with PSA in Golden one night. We had dinner. I will tell you.
Did they have anybody there? Did they have like a celebrity there? Did you get to hang out with Dr. J? So you want to give flowers to Ken Golden and PSA for letting you meet Dr. J?
I didn't even get to meet him. I saw him. It was a really nice dinner.
I took a piss.
I mean, I eat. I don't eat red meat, so I had some really good chicken française. You know, like.
Can't win with this month. I can't win with this guy. I'm trying. Man.
He's tough.
I ain't giving you a flower. I'll tell you that much. What's going on over here?
Yeah.
How about Atlantic City itself? Atlantic City, the city of Atlantic City. You want to give them a flower for keeping you safe for a weekend?
My Airbnb was really nice, so I'll give my Airbnb host a flower.
By the way, Josh, it's actually valid. I don't want to shit on it too much, right? I mean, we asked this because, a lot of people we talk to are like us. We didn't buy a booth. We were social butterflies. We're walking around, and I didn't get to see all the shows. I don't know where the hell I was half the time. I'm looking, where's 5109? Where's that? I don't know where the hell I was, and you're doing this stuff. But, you're there. This is part of your business, right? For some people, this is the Disney World trip. For you, this is just a big business week,
So the show for us is basically get there, set up, get home as soon as possible on Tuesday, right? And then Wednesday we sleep in because we can get there later. And we go to the show. We eat the horrible food that they have there. We go home. We do all of our numbers from the day. We answer all of our eBay messages. We answer all of our emails. And then by 9:30, it's time to go out for dinner. We go out for dinner. We come back. We go to sleep. That's basically what happens, right? Like we go to nice events. Like the Golden event was really nice. Like the food was really good.
It was just Ken's birthday. Happy birthday, Ken.
Happy birthday, Ken. We went to Hooters one night because it was a half a mile from the Airbnb, and went from there to Dairy Bar, which is down in Margate, which is amazing. So I'll definitely give Dairy Bar a flower, a lot of flowers, right? Who doesn't like Dairy Bar, right? But like it's not like, and people think like, oh, let's go hang out. Like to us, it's just like we have to get our business done. Like you said, it's not being a social butterfly show for us, unfortunately. I wish it was because my demeanor, everybody loves
butterfly shill. Did I hear shill at the end there?
I love being a social butterfly. It's my thing. Can't you tell?
Yeah, I can tell. Mr. Happy over here. It's good. No, but I mean, listen, it's actually a very valid point, right? And, it's one of the things that I learned also. Like, I got to spend a couple minutes with Darren Ravel this year, and he was showing off some autographs, and you name it, he was in a much better mood. And, last year I caught him where I don't know, he was busy. He had a bunch of people at the table, no time for me. And he was, a little like, dismissive and stuff. And I spent the next like 6 months going, wow, he wasn't nice to me. Why? But you sometimes have to remember, the folks are there doing business. Josh might not be ready to like, hey, let's go take a walk and go check out what Whatnot's doing. And whatever, you're doing business. You're trying to make deals. You're taking in deals. You're selling. This is what you do. So
can I say I will give, and this is going to sound crazy, I will give a flower to the people that were there, like the customers that were there for one specific reason. When I'm in Chicago or Cleveland and I'm very direct with somebody, they tell me that I'm being rude to them. And when somebody was like this, or this, I'm just like, listen, that's not really for us. And very direct. And people like, thank you for being honest with me and not like, but like,
right.
Not
don't waste my time.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a Northeast thing, right? But like that made it better for me than when I have to try to be overly nice, when I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just for my business. I don't want to buy your $27 card for $30.
Okay. So somehow at some point in time, you convince 12,000 people to send you cards in. Obviously, with this charming, winning personality that you have, I think that's what sells. Don't waste my time. I'm not walking around the show. I'm not here to be social. I just need to know where the bathroom and PSA are, which is interesting. But I mean, listen, obviously, the National Treasure episode, we do this for a reason, right? Everybody comes with a different goal, a different agenda, different things they need to accomplish, and they have a different, perspective on it. And so you're not giving flowers out, and yet you said between you and your partner, you thought better of the show, and he did not think it's so good. Besides the lack of high-end deals, if he were here, instead of feeding you to the cage wolf by yourself, right? I mean, what would he say besides the high-end deals? Would he say, like he didn't like the setup? Or did he say that, people were just, not in buying mode and it was too much selling and he doesn't like that for long-term prospects? It was too corporate. Like, what do you think his take on it would be?
He loved the new Beckett slabs.
I'm assuming he shared with you. If he didn't, then say, I don't know. We never really talked about it.
No, he did. And what I said before is really what it was, right? He just
lack of high-end deals.
Yeah, he didn't get it. He didn't think we got enough deals done. Like to go back on what you're saying, everybody has a different purpose or a different goal to be at the show. To me and to Zach also, our goal is to meet our customers and acquire new customers for grading consignment or grading to consignment, right? That's really what we go to the shows for. And we did that. So like we picked up 2 or 3 new really good customers that sent us a ton of cards already.
The current auction you're going to have with those cards, the LeBron Jordan dual logos, and then they have 2 Walter Paytons that are just insane. I don't know when we're going to air this, but that whole...
The Payton went up. The BSA 10 Payton went up. Payton Barry Sanders duel went up last night. It's already at $20,000. One of the Jordan LeBron duels went up. That's at $12,000. Just so you know, another thing that came in that I haven't posted yet. This came in.
What is that?
Contenders box. That's a box of contenders.
35,000 box of contenders.
That's Brady contenders.
And then this came in.
That box right there is $35,000.
Yeah. I don't know what this one is.
Dude, that's a sealed GPK 1985 Series 1. Wow.
Yeah. So that came in this consignment
cool box.
also. And that customer that just sent us all that stuff that we posted on Instagram, that was from the National last year. He's just unloading some more of his stuff and just sent it all to us to
So let me see that Garbage Pail Kids again.
Yeah.
Screenshot NFT.
Can you turn it to the side? Oh yeah, you can see it's filled with G.I. Joe. I'm just playing.
Josh, you have young boys. We have a lot of young entrepreneurs in the space. You're a serious business.
Wait a second. He has He has young sons.
Yes.
He has young boys in the business.
Young boys and sons.
I have a 4-year-old.
All right. So you have a 4-year-old son who you will not allow to buy Chronicles. No flux for you.
No way.
No
PSA 10 Chronicles.
He's got some PSA 10 Mets, some BGS 9510 Mets, and some 1983 Topps PSA 10s.
83 Topps.
My birth year.
But there's no good Mets in 83, right? I mean,
no. He also has a Trout Black label, but I might be taking that back from him.
What advice do you have for like the young entrepreneurs, the young kids, the 15-year-olds with 25,000 in their Zion case, who want to make a business out of this?
Go buy mugs.
He doesn't watch content.
learn from your mistakes and learn from other people's mistakes, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because every single one of us here has made a mistake, has made a financial mistake when it comes to this stuff. That's just the cost of doing business and learning. And if you're actually looking to figure out what you want to get into, if you want to get into flipping cards, start with one thing that you like. Like, buy stuff you like is always what I tell people, but learn and become an expert in one specific type vertical. And then once you know that, move on to something else. Don't spread yourself too horizontal, because you're just never going to be the master of anything, and it's just destined for failure then.
I agree. I like that. Become an expert in one vertical. And I think what you mean by that is like vintage baseball from X to Y year.
Yep.
90s inserts of these 6 types of players, NBA, right? Like kind of like try to niche down as much as possible because you'll truly get to understand and get a pulse of what cards are selling and why they're selling and what's a good deal versus a bad deal.
Well, it's also like, and when you're trying to figure that out, do it based on what you like, right? Because if you're more interested in it, you're going to be able to dive deeper into it. Like if I'm like, oh, I think there's a real good market for 1990s football cards, and I don't really like 1990s football. I mean, I do because I like Peyton Manning and all those guys. That's when I was a kid. But like if you're 25 years old right now and you were born then, you don't care. Like you're not going to care what Peyton Manning cards are, right?
Right.
So figure out something that you like or realize what you like and turn that into what you're going to go after first. And hell, you can go through that and say, listen, I spent 2 months learning this stuff and I just don't think there's a market for it. Great. You learn there's not a market. Now go pick the next thing down the list, right? You don't have, sometimes not doing something is better than doing it and losing, right?
We're going to air this the week of the 21st. So this will be good. We'll wrap with this. And this is for Cage. I'll ask Cage, then we'll go to Josh to end it. So you talked, Zach, not a lot of high-end deals at National. Did both of you guys watch PWCC premiere last night?
Yes.
Yes and yes. Give me your 60 seconds takeaway. What did you think did well? The Montana ended for 66K at a PWCCE.
I think 69, I think.
69. Yeah. What were your thoughts? 60 seconds recap of the premiere, Cage, and then we'll go to Josh.
I thought the high end stuff and the premiere it's almost all high end. I think ended very well. I think it's great to see record prices being set on a lot of items. I think eye appeal still wins the day. Nicely centered, especially vintage cards, are doing well. I mean, the Hank Aaron PSA 9 sold for a record, almost $750,000. Just an amazing looking card. I would not be upset if I were the seller of that BGS 8.5, Tom Brady, the Contenders ticket out of 100. That's about what you expect it to be. It was like 1.2 with buyer's premium leading into the season, especially with, I think, another one selling in golden, same grade, basically, like this weekend. When you see 2 of them out of 100 in the same weekend, it's an interesting thing. Maybe the golden one sells for more. We'll see. Sometimes it happens. Maybe it sells for less. Who knows? But I think as football season starts, that one might start to move up a little bit. Honestly, I'm about to hit my 60 seconds. But what I saw there is I think we've seen sort of like a bottoming out, right? And if I were to give kind of like, we had that peak that Josh talked about kind of last year in pricing, the whole deal. And we've kind of been on this slow one of these. But I'm seeing those, high-end commodity type cards. It's a weird thing to say high-end commodity, but it's ones where there's enough liquidity there. They trade enough. Your LeBron refractor rookie PSA 10 or BGS 10. I'm seeing those level out, and they've sold now a couple times at the same price, not coming down. They had been coming down. Now they're selling at the same price. It's the Jordan 86 Flair PSA 10 sold for $204 with the buyer's premium instead of $190, right? And there's one ending in golden this weekend also. It's already at $204. Maybe it'll get another bid. Like those commodity cards where there's enough of them out there with liquidity, you're seeing them kind of do one of these. And my hope is that this is the time of year where it happens, right? People come back, the summer ends, football season starts, people start paying more attention, basketball starts, and the cards start to do one of these again. I think we're at that potential bottom period here. That's just what the numbers, said to me on the PWCC auction.
Piggybacking on the end of that, the summer and the winter are generally slow times. We saw this last year going to the National also, so I wouldn't be shocked if that's 100% right? I saw the same kind of stuff where cards that have gone down either sold right above or right at the same. The problem is the big problem that we've seen over the last 6 months is that people that bought certain cards at 20, 30, 40 grand were getting 70, 80, 90 out of them. They're like, okay, the market's going down. I can still make money. I'm going to sell them, right? Look in the golden auction that's ending. How many Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Herbert Burrow, how much of that stuff is out there, Allen? Like, I think those are good cards to buy right now because people are getting out to take their profit. So cards that were rare in football season last year got auctioned to hell the last 6 or 8 months, and they're still at or above where they sold a couple months ago. So I think I agree that's a good sign. I'll tell you the two cards that we picked up the JA FOTL BGS 9 with the L patch for 60 grand. And we sold an of 99.9 for 80 grand at the show. So that's a good buy to me. And we picked up a Herbert PSA 9 of 25 RPA for about 40 grand. And that's about what it sold for in January. So same exact card. I think it sold for 38 in January. So I think we're at that point where if you didn't acquire the assets that you want, it's going to cost you more money to get them in the future. I agree that we're seeing a bottom out, maybe even an overcorrection on some of those really big cards. We just need them to become rare again, right? If you go 3 months without seeing a Jordan PSA 10, you go 3 months without seeing a Flair Kobe showcase of 150, whatever it is, PSA 10, the next one that runs is going to run for more. We went years without seeing a champ ticket hit the market. Then we saw a ton of them hit the market, right? Once those stop hitting the market, it's going to make it go back up. The supply is going to run out, and the demand's going to continue to be there or be higher. So I think we're seeing a healthy market right now.
The Star 8 finished for 84. Last one was above 100, right?
That's the third straight drop.
Right.
For the PSA
I
8?
think,
Yeah,
yes,
PSA 8.
I think that shows that demand is drying up, right? Because you need two bidders to bid up a price.
Sure.
My interpretation of that.
What did the 7 sell for? There was a 7 in the auction. And I think it was selling, the last I looked, for less than a BGS 8.5.
So
28K.
Less than
And 8 sold for 30. 8.5 sold for 34, which I think is a steal. People don't realize how much more an 8.5 than an 8 is. And then the PSA 8 sold for 84. So 84 for the PSA 8. 8.5 was 34. BGS 8 was 30. And then the 7, PSA 7 was 28.
But like anything, the first one's going to go for more. I mean, we can take this back to base cards. Look what Mac Jones Donruss base PSA 10 sold for last year. The first one was like $2,200, right?
Yep.
So as we see more hit the market with a card like that's never been on the market, it only makes sense that it's going to go down, right? And then we'll get to a value. The value might be 65, might be 70, might be that 84 is low and the next one goes 100. But I think we're going to start seeing more and more of that star card hit the market, where we'll be able to find that out in the next 6 months, what the actual value of that card is.
Yep.
Luca Nation, National Treasures. Josh Cohen is a treasure. We'll have his business partner, Zach, on one day. Love you guys. Can't wait to have dinner at Collectible. Or was it Morton's or who knows? Last year in Chicago. So,
I'm not eating with this guy. He doesn't eat red meat. Listen, I work hard. I don't eat chicken franchise, whatever the hell you call that. I'm eating a steak, damn it. What are you talking about? Maybe chicken wings. We can do chicken wings.
That's how I keep this figure, you know? I don't eat red meat. That's how I keep this figure.
That's how you fit into the jorts. Luca Nation, that's another episode.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. we're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is, 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com, or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.